when you want me to get started.
Hold on 1 second, Brandon.
Yeah, just a second, and we'll get started in just a second when Candy gets the other device going for the meeting, and then we'll do the pledge and take roll, and then we'll be ready to roll.
This is a lot of IT for me to handle.
Are you IT'd up? You're all ready? Are we close enough to time, or do we need to wait that extra minute or two?
Oh, probably perfect.
You can do this pledge. No businesses.
Well, and it's 5:29. We'll just wait a second and just do it. Make it official.
We are on.
Can I go yet?
McLean.
Still 5:29.
There it is.
It's the longest minute.
It's kind of like watching a clock.
Everybody's watching now. When it hits 5:30, you're all going to yell at me.
There you go.
There it is. All right, we'll call it to order. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Would you please take roll?
Councilman Madsen?
Here.
Councilman Montoya?
Here.
Councilman Kaufman?
Here.
Councilman Allison?
Here.
Mayor Grace?
Here. You have before you an agenda. I don't believe there's any changes to the agenda, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And the business before the board, number one item is the grant agreement with the State Loan and Investment Board, emergency funding for the Black Mountain Water Tower. I believe everybody's had a chance to look at that. So to approve and have the mayor sign would be the motion,
It would. It would.
the grant application.
Yes, sir.
So I would entertain a motion to approve and have the mayor's signature placed on the grant application for the mineral royalty grant agreement.
Make a motion to approve and have the mayor sign the application for the mineral royalty grant agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now we on to Ray.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, thanks for having me tonight, members of council. Candy asked that I be here to give you an update on where the project is at. So over the last couple of weeks, what we've been working on is figuring out exactly what the type of pumps are in each of the wells and what their pump curves are, and what that is just how the pumps operate, where they're the most efficient, and where what band they can operate between. And the reason we want to do that is we need to know the minimum and maximum we can operate each one of these pumps at when the tank does eventually become offline, so that we know that the existing well pumps in various setups where we have one pump, two pumps, or three pumps running will be able to supply all of the demands of the system. So we've been working with Sergeant Drilling out of Nebraska, with Rick, and with our well specialist on getting some of that information figured out. We're also reaching out to John Wetstein with Engineer Associates to get some of his information, so that we just make sure we're dotting all of our I's and crossing all of our T's on that. After that, the plan is we're going to do a test on each of the wells, with Black Mountain number 4 being a newer well. We'll probably do a shorter duration test just to verify information. But with wells 2 and 3, it would probably be an 18-20 hour test where we just run the run the wells either to the tank or to waste to try to figure out drawdown levels in the aquifer and how the aquifer responds, and that'll help us determine those operating ranges that we can set the wells up on. From there, we anticipate being able to add the VFDs, the variable frequency drives, to those wells. And at that point, we would start testing them, take the system offline just temporarily and test the wells to make sure that they operate correctly. And then there will be some valving improvements that we need to make with the cross connects between the town system and the Black Mountain system. So that's where we sit as far as getting the other tank offline. So I don't have a real solid estimation, but I would imagine that within the next month we should have the well test done and be on our way to getting the VFDs. Now those things do have a bit of a lead time, so we want to. That's why we're working right now to get the VFDs identified that we want and that Public Works is comfortable with, that Rick and Brian are comfortable with, and Sargent is comfortable with, since they do all of your well work. We want to make sure we're not getting some crazy VFD that somebody has to come out of Canada to work on or something like that. We want to make sure it's something that they're comfortable working on. So getting those identified and getting them on order, getting the wells tested, and then testing the whole thing. So that's my update on the status of the system right now. Any questions on that? All right.
And Ray, I want to tell you thank you, because they have started this process before we even had an agreement in place with them. So he didn't wait for us to, approve the additional engineering. They got to work
Oh, really?
immediately.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice.
So thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm really hopeful that you approve that agreement tonight. So,
We just lowered the amount, but we'll approve it.
all right, no, that's fair. That's fair. So, Candy, I know you had some questions for me as well. And could you refresh my memory on what those were?
So, on the council table, I put a Excel spreadsheet up there, and it's attached to Ray's cost estimate for the project. On this, it has our total project cost, $8,599,933, and then I subtracted out the ARPA funding that's been secured, this emergency money that's been secured, and it shows our unfunded balance of $6,299,933. Then I have scenario 1 and scenario 2. So scenario 1 is if we get 50% from Wyoming Water Development Commission, which is what we've been recommended for. And so Ray, correct me as we go along if I speak incorrectly or say something wrong. But and then
Good.
so I subtracted out that amount in scenario 1, and then I have $1,750,000, which is what we had planned to spend of SPET money on the Black Mountain Water Tower. So that leaves us at $1,864,433. Scenario 2 is if we got to 67% of the Wyoming Water Development Commission money, and then that 1.750 of the SPET money. Then our balance is only $350,488. So both scenarios were short funds. We have a couple different options Ray and I have talked about. We could go for that emergency grant fund through the mineral royalty grant. Remember at the SLIB meeting, he talked about, or was it after the meeting, Ray, where we talked about where we could go back to SLIB and apply for the funds that haven't been requested or awarded? Do you remember that?
They mentioned it in the meeting, and then, yeah, it is an option, and I think it's a very good option, especially because the SLIB is familiar with the project and they understand the need. And I understand you'll have one of the members of SLIB there with you tonight, so I think that it's on the forefront of their minds. So I think that it is, going to that June meeting is probably a good idea, because you'll know at that point whether or not the water omnibus bill was adjusted to go from the 43% recommended funding to the full 67%. And if that's the case, then you can adjust your grant request with MRG. But they did mention that as a good option for the town.
So that application is due, I think, February 15th, so at the February meeting, we'd have to pass a resolution. I would just update the grant I already did, we'd resubmit. For the balance, I'm assuming Ray, do you suggest we'd go for that 1,864,433, assuming Water Commission's only gonna give us the 50%?
That'd be my recommendation. And then my experience with SLIB is that if you adjust your grant request down, they're never mad about that. So, that they're usually very open, even if it doesn't take place until the meeting. But because you'll know in March, they'll have plenty of time to adjust it before the SLIB board even sees the board book.
So that's an option. I can start working on that. But then also to the right there, I'd put some other options. I didn't pursue the loan through the drinking water. That has that Buy American requirement on it, and it will increase the costs and delay make the timeline longer. We could use it, some SPET money, take it away from, the additional SPET money. That would make one of the other projects short. So we've got some options there, but I think Ray and I both agree right now we probably should go for that mineral royalty grant.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, one of the other things that I think may be very useful is if you have relationships with any of your senators or representatives, just mentioning the possible change to the water omnibus bill, and trying to get some support there. I even mentioned to Candy that just through life, I know a couple of the representatives in this area, and I'd be more than happy to put a bug in their ear about this project. I wouldn't normally do that, but it's a pretty big deal. So I feel like stepping out of my lane for something like that wouldn't necessarily be inappropriate, but I wouldn't want to do that without, your blessing. It's just really to familiarize them with the project and know that, the town's going to be looking at potentially having that water omnibus bill adjusted so that the town gets the full 67% grant. But I think that any contacts you have in the state legislature is probably worthwhile to reach out to. I think that getting that additional percentage would be huge in this project, and it's not unheard of. I know that they've adjusted that bill. I don't know, but I would assume it probably happens every budget cycle.
Are you guys okay with him contacting?
I don't know, I guess I don't speak for the council by no means, but for me personally, yeah, please pursue any good grace you can get with the people that you know. I mean, feel free to sell our story for us, absolutely.
I will. I think, hopefully it works. It might not work, and they might laugh in my face, but I think it's worth a shot.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did we have anything else, Ray?
I think those were really the big things. Just trying to get this ball rolling, trying to get it to critical mass where it's kind of self-supporting, and then it'll be get it on rails and get it out there. And we really want this to be tested during these really cold times when no one's using a lot of water. Besides keeping their pipes from freezing, because if we start trying to do this during irrigation season, I'm just concerned that we'll have some weird anomaly that'll happen. It'll throw everything, just make it go haywire a little bit. So the faster we go, and this is nothing for you guys as much as it is for me, just reiterating it to myself that this needs to hit the ground running, and we are full steam ahead. So we're committed to that for the town. And I just mentioned that if anyone does have questions for me, feel free to reach out to me, email or my cell phone. It's always on. Can't guarantee I'll always answer them, or might have a kid or two answer it, but I'm always available. So feel free. Doesn't hurt my feelings if you're not sure about something. If I can't explain it, then I should probably figure out why I can't explain it.
Well, it's excellent, and thank you for that, for being transparent and approachable. That's very appreciated. We haven't always had the best luck with that with some of our other professional services in the past, so glad to hear that.
I try to be as much as possible. And like I said, I know how that works. So if you're not happy with something, just let me know and I'll do what I can to make it right.
So now we have his agreement.
Yeah. So now we have the CEPI engineering agreement for the Black Mountain Water Tower. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement for engineering and professional services.
Ray, I think you made all the changes that we had in the first agreement. It mirrors the first agreement, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Except for the dollars.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Except for the dollars are different.
Correct. I took the agreement that you sent back to me and I just changed the title, the dates, and the dollar amount.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the CEPI engineering agreement for the Black Mountain Water Tank.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right, Ray, we fulfilled your wish of getting you the agreement done, so make our dreams come true, would you?
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, council. And if you don't need me for anything else, I'm going to jump offline.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Ray.
Ray.
All right, thanks all. Have a good meeting. Have a great night.
Thank you. He's really good to work with.
Yeah, number 4 VFD is 26.4. Rest of them are 18.
Must be for the big well.
That's all it is.
Must be. Number 4 is that new big well.
Okay.
The one that he said would need very limited testing because they have current data on it. But it's the big new one. Just down over the hill from the Little League fields. It's the big new one right there.
On Mariposa.
On wherever that, yeah, off south of Mariposa, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right there by that walking path by Klein's cornfield.
Wow. Say a prayer for 67%.
It's real big to us.
Well, yeah, it's like almost what $1.45 million difference
Yeah.
from 50% to 67%.
Get some bike racks.
Yeah, for those birds.
Do you have any questions on the items I have listed to the side? You know, I think our best bet is going for that mineral royalty grant fund.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the worst that can happen is they tell us no.
Right. And then we scramble after that, but I mean, that's absolutely,
Yeah.
And what that is that's the balance of those funds unused.
yeah, the unused balance is what we're applying for a piece of.
I'll have a resolution for the February meeting.
Do you have a list of who's on that water board?
No, but I can get you one.
Jason Gebhardt isn't there anymore, is he?
I don't know that.
Who? Jason?
I think Jason Gebhardt was there until he was appointed state engineer, and I don't know how all that works.
Gibbies?
What?
Gibbies?
Yeah, and then a long time ago, Mike Purcell was the head of that Wyoming Water Development. He grew up here.
So it's past the commission, so the commission received their recommendation from staff. Then, so now that 50% recommendation is what that commission is recommending to the legislature. So it's like past the commission now, it's to the legislature.
Oh, okay.
So we really need to contact the legislators.
Yeah, if we get Albert Summers to bring it out of the drawer.
So the next thing that's on the agenda is to go into an executive session about contract negotiation.
Okay. Yeah, well, I bet you we can have that wrapped up before Chuck gets here.
Yes, I think you can.
Somebody needs to make a motion.
Senator Gray, yeah, I'd entertain a motion to,
Secretary.
I'll make a motion that we leave the special meeting and go into executive session. How's that? I help you out.
you did, thank you.
Second.